Chapter 10. Goodwill Letters versus Courtesy Letters. Back in the 1990s, people would send out what's called a Goodwill letter asking for a late payment to be deleted. A Goodwill letter basically says, "You are a wonderful company, and I love you. I am a wonderful customer, and you love me. We love each other and want only goodwill in our future. Therefore, please be so kind as to go ahead and delete that late payment from my credit report, because I truly didn't mean to be late. You see, my dog ate my bill, and he's such a cute, darling dog that no one could help but see the humor in it all. Sincerely, love me." Throw those Goodwill letters in the trash bin, is what I wrote in Repair Your Credit Like the Pros, the first book in this series. I stand by that, even more now. After receiving thousands upon thousands of Goodwill letters, the creditors are responding with a hard no. They figure half the people lie, and the other half don't deserve a break. They're fed up with not being paid as promised. While preparing for this chapter, I interviewed several top credit repair experts. No one is having luck with Goodwill love letters. One business owner said he has had only 2 Goodwill requests accepted, and those were both because he got on the phone and had a flattering conversation with the right person. One of the companies was Nordstrom, and the other was Victoria's Secret. Never did he have Goodwill success with the giants like Capital One or Chase Bank. Aside from that, there's another complication. Overlays in the mortgage industry. An overlay is a rule written by an individual lender that is on top of, or stricter than, the normal industry requirement as set by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or the Federal Housing Administration. Some companies and credit unions have contracts with the credit bureaus that prohibit them from removing previously reported accurate information. This is above and beyond the Fair and Accurate Credit Transactions Act, which does not make early deletion illegal. It is an overlay, not a federal law. It takes luck and finesse to locate the right person, a person with authority to make an exception to their overlay, who will agree to delete the late payment. Sending a Goodwill letter is a little like throwing the dice in a game of Yahtzee. Goodwill letters is a risky business. What are the risks of sending a Goodwill letter? Sending a Goodwill letter comes with 2 risks. Do not discount these risks. First, a Goodwill letter acknowledges you did, in fact, pay late. Therefore, if they deny your request, the late payment will stick. The second risk is that instead of deleting the late payment, the creditor might delete entire account. It's happened. Poof! The person's account got shut down and disappeared from record. This resulted in their credit score dropping because that available credit was reduced, making their debt-to-available credit ratio worse. Remember, about 30% of your credit score is based on credit utilization. To illustrate, if you have 3 credit cards with limits of $3,000 each, then you have $9,000 available credit. If one of those cards gets shut down, then you only have $6,000 available credit. Let's say that the balances on the 3 cards adds up to $4,000. $4,000 equals 44% of $9,000 available credit. 3 cards open, $4,000 equals 66% of $6,000. Now only 2 cards are open. Oops. You're over 50% of available credit equals a lower score. You want to look at how much available credit you have compared to your total balances, then compare that to the ratio if one account gets shut down. You can also add a sentence to your letter requesting not to close the account, but still, some company executives might believe the only way they can honor your request for deletion is to remove the entire account. Their logic is that they can't legally move the late payment that happened, but they can remove the entire account, because reporting is optional. The only way to know for sure what action they'll take is to replace the letter with a telephone call. Sometimes the best communication is via real-time back and forth. You will need to decide what works best for your own situation and personality. If you have a short temper or swear like a sailor, don't pick up the phone. Courtesy letter with a reason. Now for some good news. A courtesy letter that includes a truthful reason that makes sense can work in getting a late payment deleted. There is no guarantee, as you already know by now. The difference between a Goodwill and courtesy letter is that the Goodwill letter is based on charity, whereas the courtesy letter is based on a reasonable fact. A courtesy letter tells the creditor that they should delete the late payment because it was not your fault, and therefore, you should not be penalized. You don't say that in actual words, but the implication is there. The reason you don't write "this wasn't my fault" or "it's unfair" is because that has nothing to do with it and will only annoy the reader. According to the contract you signed when you opened the account, you are responsible for paying on time every time. No clause in the agreement says that if there's bad weather, or you ran out of postage stamps, or your internet connection went down that you get a free pass not to pay on time. If the post office has a massive fire so your bill doesn't arrive, that doesn't mean you don't have to pay it. You know you purchased merchandise, or you know you have a car loan, so if the bill doesn't come, then you have to reach out to them and get it paid. You have to look up the address somehow, either on the internet or by finding their phone number, which is usually on the back of the card, and calling. We are adults, and we get it. We have to pay. No one owes us a courtesy if we were late. Nevertheless, sometimes a company will grant a courtesy deletion for one late payment. It depends on the individual reading your letter, their mood that day, and whether it sounds real. Open your letter with a positive statement, include a very short explanation, and then make your deletion request. Below is a list of reasons that some of the pros have used with success for their clients. Reasons a late payment might have occurred: they mailed the statement to a misspelled address, or the apartment number was missing. They mailed the statement to an old address, even though you notified them of your current address in plenty of time. They mistyped your bank account number, causing your on-time payment to bounce. They mistyped your email address, so your online statement arrived late. The minimum payment had increased, and you were not sufficiently notified so you could increase your payment on the auto-pay system. The missed payment was not due to an unpaid bill, but for an annual fee or membership fee that you were unaware was due. You closed the account and thought all was well, but unknown to you, there was a reoccurring charge that had not been canceled. You paid off the account as agreed, but unbeknown to you, the account incurred interest charges that were applied during their processing period. In this case, you can add this: the late payment did not occur due to any failure to pay on time or pay in full, but rather, it was due to a delay in processing. Clearly, no late pay should appear on my credit report. These next reasons are personal, and in my opinion, have a lower chance of success. Include proof to show your truthfulness and to improve your chance of a positive response. Death of a family member. Include newspaper or Facebook post of the announcement. Loss of income/loss of hours. Include a copy of your most recent check. You were out of the country on business longer than expected. Include some type of documentation, such as a letter or email from your employer. You were injured or became disabled. Include a doctor's letter or L&I statement. I will share something with you now that is an eye-opener for many people. Put yourself in the place of the employee receiving dispute letters. Which person would you be more likely to give grace to and remove the late payment? Person A has a record of paying on time. They pay soon after receiving the billing statement. They pay off the entire balance, showing they have the money to cover their purchases. And they have a low balance to limit ratio. Person B might have some random late payments in the past. They wait until the very last day to pay. They pay the minimum, showing they overspend for their budget. And they have a high balance, maybe even maxed out. Can you see that how you manage your finances plays a part in getting a late payment deleted? Person A has created a good financial reputation and is more likely to receive a courtesy deletion. Go online or call customer service to find the name of the appropriate person to send your letter to, then address that person by name. If that is impossible, then you can use something like Dear Synchrony Bank Executive. It's a good idea to enclose a copy of your ID with the letter. Even though it doesn't prove anything, it increases your chance of success. You can take a photo of your driver's license or other document showing your name and address with your cell phone, and then print that out. Including several pieces of ID improves your changes even more, according to the top credit repair business owners I know. Dispute by phone. Sometimes the most efficient way to build positive rapport and resolve an issue is with a phone call. Personally, I like doing business by phone. For the first 10 years of my mortgage career, the vast majority of my business occurred over the phone. Taking loan applications by phone, answering questions by phone, and negotiating deals by phone. Then the day came when personal computers were administered to all loan officers and businesses transitioned onto the internet. Eventually, most applications were taken online, and more clients preferred email to the phone. A phone call saves time and the cost of postage. However, some personalities are not suited to telephone business, especially when the issue involves money. Money is a huge emotional trigger, so keeping a cool head is paramount. In addition, you must always use a cordial tone of voice. Smiling while you speak makes a difference in your telephone voice. It's a good idea to jot down your main speaking points so you have that in front of you during the call. It helps for staying on point and not forgetting something important you want to include in the conversation. Consider resolving your dispute by phone if you will always use a polite, professional tone of voice. You do not interrupt the person on the other line, even if they are wordy and going in the wrong direction or are saying something stupid. You do not swear, use any foul language, or engage in name-calling. You can explain the issue clearly and succinctly. You can avoid telling a long story and getting emotional. You can get to the point, state what you need, and then stop and listen. You can talk with a smile. Do not use the phone if you are too shy to present your case, if you get flustered, if you are the type of person to flare up and hang up on the person you're speaking to, or if you cannot meet all of the criteria listed above. It doesn't hurt to practice a conversation with a friend or family member if you're unsure. When in doubt, the letter is safer to start with, and you can always follow up with a phone call if the letter doesn't work. Kindness opens the heart, anger shuts it down. Coming up next, the upcoming topics have an important element to them. What is the statute of limitations for pursuing collection of a debt?